Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, How Not to RP-1 Addendum. We are continuing development of our X405A rocket plane. This was a 3-engine model that I loaded up from a save that I did some development work on before I started the extra live stream. We're actually not going to go with this version. We don't really need it. What we do need from this is longer runtime because we are starting to fail some of the hold speed at altitude contracts because we're just not carrying enough fuel within the aircraft to hit those contracts. So what we are going to do is upgrade some of our tank types for our main fuselage and then upgrade the XLR-11 engines as well, which means we have to change out our fuel type and kind of reassign it. So with that work done, the plane is a little bit lighter and has a little bit more endurance because it's carrying more fuel. So we're going to run a simulation where we took it out to the runway, ran it down the runway, and then just shot it straight up. We basically wanted to see what the performance of these new engines would be, plus with our two little stick-on tanks there that are not deployable, just carrying a little bit of extra fuel to accommodate for the extra thirst of these engines, which are now pump-fed and not pressure-fed, which is one of the upgrades to the XLR-11 engine. So we can use much lighter, non-pressurized fuel tanks because they have their own turbopump to feed those XLR-11 engines, which saves us a whole lot of weight, which should be promising both in speed at achievable altitude, and because they're still throttleable engines down to 25%, I believe. Because, well, the XLR-11 engine, to my understanding, it didn't actually throttle. It just, because it was like a 4-chamber engine, you could turn off the chambers 1, 2, 3, or 4, giving you 25, 50, 75, or 100% throttle. There's no actual in between. But KSP doesn't model that, so we just get clean throttle sweep from 25 to 100%, which advantage Cosmo will take it. I was looking at making deployable drop tanks for this thing, but all of the radial decoupler doohickeys do not have crossfeed, and we don't have fuel lines invented yet. So I really thought this was just not a thing. We'll come back to that later. We're going to tool up our new tanks and get everything built and then get this thing under production. In the meantime, while we're waiting for those upgrades to come through, we're going to jump by and pick out 2 more nodes to unlock with all of our science, and then we are waiting on our next rocket launch, which is totally not a film returner, which will launch in about 35 days or so. So we'll just oh, and also our 60-ton pad is nearing completion, which means we have completed one more step into being able to hit our necessary things for launching something into Earth orbit, which is really kind of the goal of this series to begin with. And so with not a film returner ready and on the launch pad, we'll go ahead and get this flight off the ground. Now our contract specifications are relatively easy. They're well within the parameters of this rocket. It is a rather, I don't know, high performance. It's really overbuilt for completing these really simple early contracts. And even with an engine failure with 14 seconds of runtime left, we are still able to hit the minimum altitude necessary for our biological sample on our not a film returner rocket. I guess this is actually a biological contract. Yeah, biosample return contract. All we have to do is make sure it gets back to Earth safely. And so with the main body of the rocket jettisoned, we are returning the avionics package, which is the most expensive part of the rocket, and it does actually give us some extra fundage, worth well more than what the Sepratron costs us in mass. And you can hear the rocket exploding into the surface as those parachutes finally reach their full deployment and coast us to a very gentle 3 meters per second landing speed, just a couple hundred meters away from KSC. So we're going to send an intern out to come drag this back in the back of his Catalina convertible, and we'll get this thing recovered. Well, we will be taking another low space, not low space biological. We're going to take a downrange launch vehicle development, which is also well within the capabilities of our rocket. We got to go downrange by a certain amount with, well, 340 kilometers with 70 units of sounding rocket payload. Oh, I think that's difficult. We're going to end up going intermediate, I do believe. Nope. Difficult. We took the difficult contract. It's been a while since I've recorded this footage, so sorry. My memory's just a little bit fuzzy, and so we have to make minor modifications to our not a film returner rocket. One, getting rid of the biosample that we no longer need. I think we've got 130 units of sounding payload in this storage unit currently, which is fine. We can still make the contract requirements even with it loaded. It doesn't take very long to build, something like 25 or 30 days, so we'll just skip live to the launch of this vehicle, going for a downrange contract completion. The other stipulation is that we do have to cross the 140 kilometers altitude mark in order for this to count. So we do actually have to lean into it quite a bit. We're going to get up to about 321 kilometers altitude, well above the contract specifications. We'll fire up those fairings. At some point here, we're going to jettison the rocket body and just start coasting, and we'll watch that counter. Yep, and we have hit the 340 kilometers downrange, and with no more really useful science to obtain after we cross into the low atmosphere, we'll just pull the plug. And now our prototype 405 is done, so I'll take you to the live first flight of that during the live stream. Take it away, old me. Tunk. Alright, boom. Go for throttle up. Climb, baby, climb. Alright. Maintain between 560, between 12.4 and 14.5. So we gotta get some altitude and then get some speed. Where are the soft cooldowns? Contract rewards are set to a minimum value immediately after you complete them and then take several. No, I was not aware of that. Interesting. That's Alright, we need to get above 12.4. We have. Let's level out. Get some speed. We gotta keep it below 14. Up to 560, that's our peg minimum. Almost there. I should have... I'm glad that we're close, because I did not check the range. This last thing we need to do is kill Bob on a splashdown. 560, throttle back. Okay. 3 minutes. Here we go. Flying X-planes or sounding rockets more often than 100 days apart is inefficient. Interesting. Fine controls, we gotta keep it below 14, please. Below 14. Just nice and easy, man. We do kind of want to ride the very top end of this. There's less drag up here. Not by much, but there's some. Different contract families are on different cooldowns, so you can overlap. Oh, interesting. That would be worth making a spreadsheet. And believe me, there are not very many things in this world that are worth making a spreadsheet. Hey, supersonic flight analysis transmitted 2.5 science. Yay! Alright, minute 36. Oh, it's going to be really close. I mean, I guess you need to know what contracts are in what families and the cooldown time. That should be enough data to compile at least a test bed. Alright, come on. 57 seconds. You can do this, man. Please. Nope. Oh, God, so close. Do we push it to the top end? Drag is going to take a lot of speed out of this really quickly once we come off the throttle. Come on, 30 seconds. Did I pull off those external tanks? Nope, they're still there. I guess we need to make them bigger. Come on, 10 seconds. Come on, please. Please, 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 please. 4, 3, 2, 1. Damn it! No! And we didn't take any other contracts to supplement this income, so this is pretty much just a pretty dumb test flight. Son of a bitch. Line and contract description detailing how reward and cooldowns are related. Oh, interesting. Alright. Yeah, a joyride. That's all this was. Literally 1 second off. God. Effing. F. By the way, T-38. Oh, T-minus 38 minutes. Gotcha. I thought you were talking about the trainer aircraft. Oh, like, are you scrambling T-38s because I'm out joyriding in a rocket plane? I really wonder, like, just a little bit more efficiency on the climb, or a little quicker to roll off the throttle, or maybe maintain a higher speed, or the top end a little more, and we could have nailed this one. No, I only scramble eggs. I really don't want to have to land this after not getting paid. Oh, should have stretched the main tank. Maybe make the tanks drop tanks. We don't have decouplers with crossfeed. Right on, Grathen. Thanks for coming by, Sam. It's always good to see you pop up, man. I miss you, buddy. Hopefully I'll be able to stop in Monday or Tuesday. Pylons? What is these pylons is? We need to adjust for landing. And considering this is going to be a rush job, it's probably going to go very badly for poor Bob here. Poor Bob. Don't press G. Press it, but only once. Might have survivors killed. I mean, at this point, probably. At least he didn't turn too hard and tear his plane apart like poor Jeb. Such a rookie error for such an ace pilot. Gear out, there's the sound. We're actually pretty good speed this time. I'll take it. Snap, crackle, pop goes the airframe. And 9, how's it going? Good to see you, buddy. We're gonna overshoot some runways. Or just glide right past them. Boop, boop. Nope, I almost hit G again. Holy shit. Brakes. Are we gonna overshoot? Yep. Nope. Looks like we're gonna park it right on the stripes. Nice. Cover vessel. Recover the spaceplane hangar, please. So we will take it back to the spaceplane hangar. We're going to replace the engines because I think they were due anyway. And while we're here, we might as well top off the fuel, make sure everything's okay before we take it right back outside for its next flight. So here's old me. All right, gear up. Out. Here we go. Ba-thump. Boom. All right, climb, baby, climb. Get to altitude, get to speed. All right, we want to sit right at 14 kilometers, so that's what we're going to go for. How's it going, Simav? Yes, more RP-1 today. Alright, let's get up to speed. Switching to fine control. I'm so sorry at 9. But yeah, I screwed that one up pretty good. Well, we need to be at 560. 60 hit, throttling back. Alright, ride the line, friend. Come on, Bob, this is up to you, man. I swear, if you go over that altitude limiter, I'm gonna kill you. Well, thanks for popping in, Simav. If you have to go to bed, you gotta go to bed. I know how it goes, man. What's the marker on the ocean? Debris. A dead Kerbal. Yeah, like a corpse of a hope for a dream. Accurate. Minute of runtime, 2 minutes into this flight. Dip down a bit, you got a whole kilometer of altitude before you lose. I know, I think I'm trying to maximize the least amount of drag. I know, I'm so nervous. Very, very, very nervous. Like, as we bleed fuel, I'm coming off the throttle trying to make sure we can do this. So I want to be as efficient with my fuel as I can. This launch site, this is Cape Canaveral. Alright, a minute left. Come on, Bob. You can do it, man. You can do it. Oh, it's gonna be so close again. Such margins. "45 seconds. Start to nose it down, see if we can't maintain some speed. Come on, 30 seconds. Low fuel warning. "15 seconds. Ding! Come on. Yes! Gotcha! Flame out. What are we gonna hit? 22? What do we have to hit for the other thing? 28. So, not gonna be a thing. We can't double it up this time. Oh well. All right, let's get out of this before we get into too much trouble. Survive, over adapt, become. I am excited. We did it. We got paid a little bit of money for a whole lot of increased heart rate. Why is our fuel is not completely gone? We ran out of HTP, it looks like, for our pumps, but we still have some unspent fuel in this aircraft. Pylons. Yes, we will go back and do the pylons. The fuel ratios are funky. They are. Sonic boom some houses out here downrange and get kind of set up for a landing. And let's land this thing yet again. Probably cycle out our engines after this flight anyway. What are we looking at? Yep, ignition's remaining 0. So, switch to some pylons. Do we still have... Yeah, we're still in fine controls. No wonder we didn't get the climb rate we were looking for. The ratio is your biggest fear when starting with KSP. I wonder what's up with the discrepancy. If it's just like a rounding error, or what's going on with why we still have some fuel but nothing for the turbo pumps. I think the engine would keep burning things that are combustible, whether the pumps just dump the rest out. I think HTP powers the pumps, and without the pumps it can't push fuel into the combustion chamber, so it just kind of sits there. Ratios going off while the engine's running is very bad. Braking turns. Diving so as to not be below stall speed. Yeah, now we're too fast again. Let's get the gear out. Okay, so let's get set up for landing and try very hard not to kill Bob. If we can only use a little of the runway this time instead of all of the runway. Nice, and nope, that was too gentle. Burp. Brakes, 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 not gear, gear, gear. Awesome. Cover to spaceplane hangar. Sweet. And with this one also successfully recovered at least, we'll do a mandatory engine replacement, buying over the options on whether to upgrade, but I think we're going to stay with the mid-tier engines for now, because without the X2 cockpit, we're kind of limited on our altitude. So getting even faster engines really doesn't do much for us. We're very limited by the airframe. But it was at this point that someone in chat did inform me that I do have pylons, which are not in the payloading section, but instead in the structural section, small hard point, I should say, and that these can be used for drop tanks, because they have separators in them, which is super, super useful. So now we can get rid of these tanks once they are empty, which does do us a whole lot of good, and gives us a little bit of extra runtime, although we do need to reconfigure the fuel for our new engine, but they look kind of stupid, which is which point chat also informed me something I did not know. Tooling doesn't care about the tank shape, just the dimensions. So, like, for instance, here we have a cylinder, right? It's flat on the top and the bottom, just a straight cylinder. If we were to change that to fillet cylinder, for instance, where it has a rounded front and back, even though it looks completely different and stores a different amount of fuel, and it's a completely different shape and would require different tooling to actually manufacture, our tooling still applies. So we don't have to retool that tank. We can just make it a different shape and actually use it. So it's not here in this build, but I think this is where chat was telling me about it, I guess. So instead of these just big, weird, flat-faced cylinders that give us a lot of drag, we could switch this out to fillet cylinders, give it the same measurements, 0.3 meters by 2 meters, and we don't have to tool it, which is absolutely brilliant. It saves us a whole bunch of money. And so we'll start out with 2. I think eventually we'll get up to having 3 of these cylinders that we don't have to tool bolted up underneath our wings, which makes things just so much easier. And I think that's a tip a lot of people should know about, because you can switch tank shapes as long as the dimensions are the same. You don't have to retool it, and that's pretty awesome. So anyway, that's gonna do it for this episode, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it, and I will see all of you in the next one. So until then, see you later.